Dear children, do not let anyone lead you astray. He who does what is right is righteous, just as he is righteous. He who does what is sinful is of the devil, because the devil has been sinning from the beginning. The reason the Son of God appeared was to destroy the devil's works. You know, many people speculate as to why Jesus came. If I went to a curb and started asking pedestrians, tell me, why did Jesus Christ come to the earth? I would get a lot of reasons. Some would say, well, to teach us how to love. Others might say, well, to give us an example to follow. And then some good evangelicals might say, simple, to die for our sins. Well, there is a truth in all those statements. Obviously, dying for our sins is a deeper truth than the others. But there is something even deeper that I want to convey to you than simply saying that Jesus came to die for our sins. What does that mean in the end? Well, it means we get to go to heaven. All right, fine. But what about us being on the earth still? What happens then? Well, we just keep asking God to forgive us when we make a mistake. That's it? It's just to ask God for forgiveness and just to prepare ourselves for the world to come? Well, yeah, I can't think of anything else. But that's just it. The Apostle John conveys the real purpose behind the coming of Jesus Christ to the world. He doesn't give the simple answers like to teach you, to give us an example. And yet the Bible tells us his death is an example. His life is an example. He came and taught the truth. That's part of the reason. But John says, here's the reason. Notice the phrase in verse 8. For the reason the Son of God appeared. Notice the reason. You can't find any place in all of the New Testament where it specifies the phrase, this is the reason for his coming. Your King James says, for this purpose. But purpose is even a deeper word than reason. Purpose tells you the motive behind all of this. What was God's motive in sending his Son to the world? What was he wanting to accomplish? You know what John says? The reason the Son of God appeared, the purpose for the manifestation of the Son of God was to destroy something. Destroy the devil's works. Now, sometimes people will say to me, you know, I've seen you on TV, you're the exorcist, Ryan, and you cast out demons and all that. But, you know, I just think, Bishop Brown, you put too much emphasis about the devil and defeating him. I kind of like a Christianity that doesn't really mention him much. I just prefer to talk about God's love and his goodness and all of that. I don't want to really talk about the devil because we're giving him too much power. Really? Can you imagine a sports team ready to go, you know, play against another team, and they decide, you know, the coach says, come on, we're going to watch the film of the other team. No, we don't want to concentrate on the other team. Let's just concentrate on what we have. They would say, no, we're not showing films of the other team because we want to be like them. We're showing films so we can beat them. Right? So sometimes people will get on me and criticize my ministry of deliverance, and they'll say, well, you know, we shouldn't emphasize that. Yet, John emphasizes it. He says this is his reason for coming. This is why he was manifested. This is why Jesus appeared, was to destroy the devil's work. And now here's my point. What good is talking about forgiveness of sins if it doesn't give us victory over God's archenemy, the devil? If in this world we don't have victory, but just forgiveness, then redemption was a miserable failure. But redemption was no failure because it gave us not just forgiveness of our sins between us and God, but it gave us, as a result, victory over God's archenemy. See, so what's happened is Christianity has often focused on the cross as a means by which God and the human race are at peace, right? So often it's a focus on God and us. We're at peace. But what about the archenemy? You see, he's in the middle. And if we don't talk about how redemption does something to the archenemy, then we haven't really focused on what the purpose of redemption is about. This is not my words. These are the words of St. John. The reason the Son of God appeared was to destroy the devil's work. So the real scriptural answer to the question, why did Jesus come? To destroy the devil's works. That's why he